Okay, now that section right underneath the little finger is your marriage lines, or your marriage line. You have got one marriage line. That's it. Can you see it? It's dark up in... It wasn't too bad of a marriage. It's got some color in it. Not too bad of a marriage. Oh, wait a minute. Let me see if this 30-year one is a marriage line down here. Because you were married when you were 19, weren't you? I might have to eat my words there. You might have two marriage lines. That bottom line, look at that section there. Look at the end of your heart line. See where the heart line starts in between the index finger and the middle finger. And it comes along the top of your palm, then it ends at the outside of the hand. Generally, there's little tassels on the end. Those are flirt lines. You got really good little flirt lines, which means that you interact well with people. Then at the end of that heart line and the ring around the little finger, that's where your marriage lines show, and they show horizontally. They come from the outside and they come inwards towards the palm. You can see the one marriage line really clear, but there's a timeline there. That first third of that section is about about when you become an adult, about 18 to, well, the first section is about 20s and your 30s, and just a couple of years before. And then that next section would be your 40s and your 50s, and that last section would be your 60s, 70s, and 80s. That marriage line, I think it just sits too darn high in the hand. I think that if you had a really bad marriage the first time, that's got to be that line that's right just smack above where those flirt lines are. It almost makes it look like it's a flirt line, but I think that's your marriage line. If it wasn't a good marriage, it's kind of fades in and out, in and out, in and out. So that would have been your first marriage line, but boy, it's not good. And then it bends down at the end. When it bends down at the end, he dies before you do. Maybe you're not even in contact with him anymore. But it bends down if he dies before you do. But then you got divorced. So a divorce is a fork on the end of the line. Let me see if I can see. You would have got a fork. Well, I do. I see a fork right there before that line ends. Alright, that's your divorce. And then there's a big space in there. And then you get a marriage line. Because I saw a little marriage marking. If you have a chance to get married, it will show in your left hand, and it shows with little, let me go to your left hand, it shows with little markings on that fate line. It makes a little Y, like the letter Y. It's a little fork in that fate line. Boy, in that left hand, even in your left hand, you got a major achievement line going up into that ring finger, that creative finger. Okay, that fate line starts right at the base of your palm. It goes right straight up the middle of your hand, and it heads up to that middle finger, that Saturn finger. If it goes anywhere else, it's not your fate line. Here we are. It crosses over that headline at about age 40. Well, you probably had a chance to marry when you was in your late 30s. Well, let's see, you were still married then, weren't you? You were 38. You might have had a chance to marry shortly after you was divorced. Well, I don't see a chance to marry until you get clear up to, you got a funny little joggy line there at about 50. But you said you're not going to marry, but, of course, you're the master of your fate. You're the boss. That might be just a companion that you get. And I don't get a fork in that line then till I get clear up to about 60, but you're only going to live till you're about 86. Well, that's an awful long line. You might get a chance to marry at 56, and then you may get a chance to marry. It doesn't mean you'll take it, but you got a chance to marry at 56. So you got two chances to marry there, one at 60 and one at 56. Now, whether you take it or not is another story. I don't think you'll take the one at 56. You might take the one at 60, though.